Have you ever had your car break down and spent days waiting for repairs only for those days to turn into weeks? Suddenly, getting to work, school, medical appointments, or even the grocery store becomes a stressful challenge. Now imagine living in a rural community where transportation alternatives such as Uber, Lyft, or public transit systems are limited or unavailable. For many rural Americans, this is not an occasional inconvenience, it is a daily reality. My name is Tina Jefferson, and today I will explain how limited public transportation affects rural communities and the challenges these areas face in providing reliable transit options. My information comes from peer-reviewed studies and government reports that examined rural transit systems in the United States. The first challenge facing rural public transportation is infrastructure and hours of operation. Infrastructure is the basic system a community needs to function, including roads and transportation systems. Hours of operation refers to when these public transit services are available. As rural communities grow, existing transportation systems have struggled to meet the residents' demands. Researchers Zhang and Xu, found in the Journal of Rural Studies, state that the demand for public transportation becomes increasingly important as rural areas experience urbanization and population growth. However, transportation services have not always expanded quickly enough to meet these needs. Another challenge facing rural public transportation is inadequate state and federal funding. Without financial support, rural transit systems often struggle to expand routes, maintain service hours, and provide reliable transit options. Although federal investments in public transportation have increased, transit services have remained concentrated to urban and metropolitan areas where most public transportation systems and trips occur, Congressional Budget Office 2021 reported. As a result, many rural communities continue to face limited transit options. Beyond infrastructure and funding challenges, rural transportation is also affected by geographic characteristics. Low population density means fewer people in large areas spread across areas, making transportation routes more difficult and costly to maintain. Increasing urbanization refers to rural communities experiencing growth and development, which creates a greater demand for the transportation services. The U.S. Government Accountability Office reported that rural residents still need reliable transportation access to employment, healthcare, childcare, grocery stores, schools, and other essential destinations. Without dependable transportation options, many rural residents face greater difficulty accessing these important resources. In conclusion, rural transportation for the public continues facing challenges that limit residents' access to essential services and opportunities. Today we discuss three major challenges: inadequate infrastructure and limited hours of operation, insufficient funding, and the effects of low population density and increasing urbanization. So the next time you get in your vehicle to drive to work, school, or even the grocery store, consider the millions of rural Americans that do not have the same freedom. Expanding access to reliable public transportation is not just simply about providing a ride. It is about creating opportunities, improving access to health care, and connecting the communities to resources they need to thrive. Thank you.